Hey everybody, it's Ben, and I'm back once again with another video for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing East of West, Volume 1, The Promise. The series is written by Jonathan Hickman and illustrated by Nick Dragotta, and on the colouring we have Frank Martin. And this first volume collects the first 5 issues of the series, which is published by Image Comics. Now the premise for this series is it's a post-apocalyptic dystopian future science fiction western with 3 of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse as the main series antagonists and Death as the main series protagonist. So the story starts out and we have a brief, we have literally the 3 of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse being reborn or reincarnated as children, as you can see there. Now the 3 of the 4 Horsemen that are reincarnated are War, Conquest, and Famine, as you can see there. Now these may look like children, but they are clearly not to be messed with, and so when they're reborn they discover that Death isn't among them, so they set out to find and kill Death. And we're then treated to a brief bit of exposition of how this world in this post-apocalyptic dystopian future came to be. There's references to events that happened shortly after the Civil War, as you can see there and there. I have to say this is my first exposure to Nick Dragotta as an artist and Frank Martin as a colorist, but I have to say both of the work that both of these gentlemen do is just absolutely fantastic. And the exposition revolves around a meteor that fell to Earth and then resulted in the United States of America being divided up into 7 nations. And then you have the introduction of Death, who's all clad in white and looks like a cowboy. And he's also travelling with 2 companions, the wolf and the crow, as you can see there and there. Unfortunately, Death and his companions have walked into a bar which is playing host to a lot of Confederate soldiers, but luckily for Death, both of his companions, the wolf and the crow, make short work of the Confederate soldiers, as you can see there. And there's a really cool shot of Death himself, as you can see there. I have to say that Death is actually a really interesting, compelling and rudimentary character, and that you really root for him during these first 5 issues. And in this post-apocalyptic dystopian future, Death rides around on a black mechanical horse, as you can see in this 1-page spread of him riding away from his companions, as you can see there. There's also a really great scene where, which really defines the 3 children, or the 3 reincarnated children of the apocalypse, of just how brutal and how evil, you know, war, famine, and conquest actually are. And there's a scene where they've just killed a whole lot of people to basically power their bodies into this triangular sigil, and unfortunately one of them has survived, and they tell him a knock-knock joke shortly before they start stomping him to death, which is just really brutal and really just a great character-defining scene for the 3 of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And again, in this dystopian future, instead of it being a White House in America, there's the White Tower, as you can see there. And we have Death paying a visit to the President of the United States, as you can see there and there. There's also some really great flashbacks and some great Easter eggs that are dropped by Hickman and Dragotta and Martin, in terms of actually what happened to Death, and the part that a few of the characters that we're introduced to may have possibly played. It's not quite revealed what their role actually is, but it's hinted at that the president, the three of the four horsemen, and a few other characters may have played a part in Death's downfall. And there's a great character defining scene for Death when he first off demands that the president call him by his true name, as you can see there. And there's also a great scene where Death tells the president, if you find hell lonely, don't worry, company's coming real soon. And he then proceeds to basically offload his 6-shooter into the president's head. And there's a great scene where just as Death is about to leave, he tops his hat and he just walks out of the White Tower, leaving the headless corpse of the President of the United States behind, as you can see there, which really defines just how really cool and really badass Death as a character actually is. At the same time, you have some great intrigue surrounding a select group of people within this dystopian future America known as the Chosen. Now the Chosen are basically a select group of individuals who have all heard this mysterious prophecy known as the Message, and the Message basically dictates every move that the Chosen actually make, and the Chosen are basically trying to bring about the end of the world or bring about the apocalypse, as you can see there and there. There's also another really awesome scene where our reincarnated horsemen actually show up at the same bar that Death and his companions walked into during the first issue, and there's a great scene where they talk to possibly one of their agents, if you will, which is a talking eyeball. I'm not joking, it is actually a talking eyeball, which is pretty awesome, as you can see there and there. Like I said at the start of the video, although this is my first exposure to Nick Dragotta as an artist and Frank Martin as a colorist, they both do an absolutely fantastic job, in my opinion. And there's also a really cool one-page spread of the artwork, and there's another great scene and a great dialogue exchange for Death where he says, "The Great Wall is coming down and my judgment will follow shortly," as you can see there. There's also some great story reveals about Death's wife and the House of Mao, which is the house that Death's wife actually belongs to and is a part of. She's one of the two children of the resident. Let me see if I can get the name right. The current matriarch, then, if you will, of the House of Mao. And there's some great action scenes with Death and his two companions, and also his black mechanicized horse can not only shoot missiles, but also can shoot lasers as well, as you can see there and there. I'll just show you a few more of the action scenes, as you can see. Let me see if I can find a shot of Death's horse unleashing the lasers once again, as you can see there and there. We also have some great flashbacks to the first meeting between Death and the lady that would eventually become his wife. Let me see if I can find it. As you can see there and there. There's some really great exchanges between Death and his wife, and they're a little bit indifferent towards one another, particularly given that everything that's happened in the past decade, that Death has unfortunately been away due to the fact that he was betrayed 10 years prior to the start of this story, and also everything that's happened to his wife. I believe he shortens the name to Exio. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Xiao, however you choose to pronounce that. And once again, there's a great one-page spread and a great final page of Death astride his black mechanical horse, with his two companions in tow, off on the next stage of his journey, as you can see there. The writing and the storytelling in this by Jonathan Hickman is absolutely fantastic, along with the equally on-par artwork of Nick Dragotta and the colouring of Frank Martin. If you're a fan of Jonathan Hickman, if you're a fan of indie or Image Comics, or if you're intrigued by the premise, which, like I said, it's a post-apocalyptic dystopian future science fiction western with 3 of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse as the main series antagonists and Death as the main series protagonist, then I highly recommend you check out East of West. Hickman is really building this future world, and it's really intriguing, engaging, and I'm really interested in seeing where the story goes, particularly with the great reception that issue 6, which came out just recently, has been getting so far. So I'm definitely interested in seeing where this goes. If I had to give this first volume of Hickman's East of West a rating, I'd give it an absolute 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. And that about concludes this review video, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the video. As always, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Didn't like it, thumbs it down. But as I always say, if it thumbs the video down, by all means please feel free to tell me why in the comments below, or send me a private message. If this is your first time here, by all means please feel free to subscribe. And until next time, this is Gambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.